We have a show to do today.
The whole new acronym thing drives me effing bananas. Can we call him by his name?
Felger and Maz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
We are clearly not performing, up to our expectations, up to the players' kind of historical track records. I think we need to do everything possible to get there and then determine exactly, kind of whether or not this was the right strategy. But step one is getting players to perform, the way that they have historically, the way that we believe that they can, and putting support in terms of staff and resources around them in order to do that.
It's not even, I know where he is. It's not even that small of a country.
Right, that's what I thought, too.
Not by European standards.
Yeah, Maz is a little...
paranoid.
Yeah.
He's like Alex Cora.
Well, listen, he's like Alex Cora, yep. Anyway, that was Craig Breslow again on Sunday there, that press conference. So they think they can't accurately gauge the roster because there are not enough players performing to historical standards. They're going to be sorely disabused of this notion. Like, I'll just give you the poster child, I think, for the mismanagement of Craig Breslow, which is Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin's year last year was the outlier, you dummy. If you actually watched the games versus just the spreadsheet, you might know that. He has no plus skill. He has no high-end ability. It's all sort of guts and guile and hustle and luck and running around really hard. He's closer to what he is this year than what he was last year. Just watch him play. And anyone with any sort of critical eye could have told you that. He was third in the Rookie of the Year balloting in the NL last year. So you think that's what he is? Watch him play. So you're expecting Caleb Durbin to do what he did last year? He's not. He's not that good. That was the year. Why do you think the Brewers were willing to give him to you? And you gave him Kyle Harrison, 6 innings, 1 hit, 12 strikeouts yesterday for the Brewers.
That's right. By the way, too, Julian McWilliams writing this piece today with a lot of information on Trevor Story. Get a load of this. The front office was bullish on former Red Sox infielder David Hamilton during his time with the club. They go on to say that some on the coaching staff viewed Hamilton as a flawed player. So now all of a sudden, it's Alex Cora's fault that they made the Caleb Durbin trade.
But this is also what, I said this going into the year. Trevor Story's season last year. When you look at his last 3 or 4, and you look at last year, which one was the outlier?
Last year.
Oh, last year.
So you're expecting water to seek its level on Trevor Story? No. What if this is what he is, and last year was the
aberration? No, anyone expected him to get 25 home runs again this year was nuts.
Insane.
That was not happening.
You know who didn't expect it? Trevor Story. It's why he didn't opt out.
Exactly right, Matt. So please. So, Breslow's next because he's not good at his job, and he assembled a crappy roster. He's next. And on that day, we'll dance all over his grave. And we can do it now if you want. We can do it early. It's no problem. But Alex Cora got it, so that's the dancing we're doing. Dean in Shrewsbury, go ahead.
The Red Sox made the right decision in firing Alex Cora. His days were numbered since last year when he blamed it on the weather. Now we have John Henry blaming it on the weather too. Once you try to determine the stuff that's not in your control and try to say that's why you're not winning, then you're just not a good manager.
The issue, Dean, is he was more worried about the GM, the players he was getting, the blame he might be getting, what people were saying. He was more interested in protecting his turf. He just became another rabbit-eared, paranoid, office politicking, backbiting, backstabbing Red Sox manager. He became a cliche. Josh in Framingham. Go ahead, Josh.
Hi, I just want to say I feel like you guys are missing the mark a little bit on this Alex Cora stuff. I think you guys should go back and revisit the year they lost to the Astros in the ALCS 2021. Alex Cora did a great job, overachieved with a middling roster without Mookie Betts. And what did ownership do at the trade deadline? They did nothing. They got a injured Kyle Schwarber, who they didn't even re-sign. They almost lost the clubhouse, and Cora did a good job in kind of circling the wagons, and they almost won.
I agree.
5 years ago.
He did a good job 5 years ago. I agree.
Yeah.
But even that year, in 2021, it was your usual Cora second-half collapse, and they only got in because of Rafael Devers' home run on the last day of the season. Okay, and then they went on a nice run, but it's kind of overrated there, too. He's wildly overrated.
Oh, my God. And he when he first came on and early on, I think it was absolutely better. And I think he was less consumed with all this other crap. I feel like all the other crap has consumed him for a couple of years.
I think it started the year after that World Series win in 19. Remember, they get off to that slow start, and he was real bitchy, real fast. I forget what the quote was, but it was basically like, "Oh, don't everyone calm down, don't worry about it. We'll be just fine."
Well, yeah,
the way they handle the pitching staff.
Well, we did it last year. We'll do it this year.
Right, exactly.
Which was a huge mistake, as in, no, every year's different, Alex, and so that was just a tactical mistake how he approached that. I just think as the years went on, he became more consumed with the office politics than he did with the baseball team.
He definitely did.
Andrew in Brookline. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Mike, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Welcome.
I think my theory is this. I think that you got to start at the top. You got to look at the GM, going through many GMs, going through Bloom, going through Breslow, a lot of inconsistent leadership, and some of it falls on Cora, but most of it falls on the roster configure.
I agree, Andrew. Most of it falls on the roster construction. I agree with that, Andrew. I agree.
Well, as much as I didn't...
But the manager still is wildly overrated, and the last couple of years has kind of sucked and has been kind of a problem. Okay? So the GM's next. If they wanted to fire the GM today, too, I'd applaud it. Absolutely. I think I never liked him. I caught one whiff of both of these last two guys. I said, nope. They're bots. They are just bots with no decision-making prowess whatsoever. I don't know if there's an actual person inside of that thing that I'm listening to or looking at, and I got no use for these guys.
Well, there sure is, because he is vengeful and he has seized power. So there is a little bit more of a human element to this one.
You're right. He's got a little bit more of a nose for, you want to play office politics, I'll play office politics and bury your ass.
Right, exactly.
You're right.
I've got no problem firing you. I mean, you go back to the, thanks, Brez, you effing stiff. That guy's out the door. So he does have that. The only thing,
when it comes to constructing a baseball team, he's just another clone.
The only thing more dangerous than a nerd is a vengeful nerd. You don't want to mess with those guys.
But what makes Breslow disappointing is he was a player. I mean, Bloom was just a geek's geek that came out of Yale, and he's like what you're talking about, Mike. But Breslow was a player.
Breslow's a geek's geek who just happened to have a good arm. But he doesn't look like a player, sound like a player, carry himself like a player. He doesn't have the sensibility as a player. He doesn't have the instincts of a player. He doesn't have it. He's just another bot, and he'll be gone soon enough, and he'll be replaced by someone else. And I have no problem with that. But I can kind of see their rationale, which is, well, if we're going to fire everybody, no GM can come in here right now. We're not going to let them spend either. So what are they really going to do? Let's just see. If you fire the manager, it sparks a fire under the young kids anyway, and we get something out of this season, and we'll just see. I mean, and if not, if they stay where they are right here in last place, Breslow's gone.
See, people are missing the point. You can't bring in a new general manager if Cora is still your manager here. To that whole crowd, well, it's not Cora's fault, it's the GM's fault. Yeah, you're not going to get a good GM because nobody's going to want to come and be stuck with Alex Cora, who's going to try and backstab you 2 years later.
Just going to go up the back stairs on your ass, too. Alan in Florida. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, well, first of all, 1A is gone, but number one is still there. He is the worst. I mean, does he know how to construct a team? I don't know what they taught him at Yale. Number one, I want to say, Matt, I want to tell you, the other night I was furious and I'm all wound up and everything. I turned on the radio, and you were great, and the guy next to you is saying, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to lose my job. I like my job. How could he be on the radio? What a disgrace. He said,
is that Nesson boy Joe Murray?
That sure is, yes.
Yeah, I love Joe.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm steaming, and I had company at the house. It was a birthday party.
No.
I still put on.
Alan, John Henry, Maz, and Joe Moyer are taking a steam bath together. They're spritzing together. Go ahead, give me your Red Sox take, please.
Okay. I mean, first of all, this is a guy that's a general manager, and he goes from Devers to Bregman to your guy you just mentioned to Durbin. You know, I told Maz that Sonny Gray would be on the injured list by May 30th. So I apologize. I'm wrong. He's already on it. I mean, what do they expect? What are they doing? You know.
Well, here's what they expect, Alan. The roster blows, and it's not going to do anything as the roster blows. We all agree with that. But what they expect is the manager to manage the players they've been given and do their best with it and do it in good faith is what they expect. And Alex Cora had not been doing that for a while. He had not been managing the team in good faith for a while. I think it's obvious to everyone. It should be obvious to everyone. The roster blows. It still blows. So, I mean, even if he had managed it in good faith, maybe it wouldn't be any better. I'm not saying it would be. But I can't blame the team for looking at Alex Cora and saying, enough of this. Enough. He's going to put someone in there who's going to work with the stiff that we have assembling the team. And if they're on the same page, let's just see what that, for the first time in like 8 years, let's just see what that feels like. Where the manager isn't trying to undermine the GM and vice versa. Let's just try it. Got nothing else to lose. And so that's what they expect. And I don't blame them one bit. But make no mistake, Breslow's next. And we'll just start it all over again. Because if you think the next GM is going to be any different, you're sorely mistaken. It's going to be the same freaking guy. Continue with your thoughts on this. It is a Reentry Monday. It's brought to you by our friends at Blue Bear Heating, Plumbing, and Air. We still have to get to the Bruins.
Oh, maybe the biggest a-holes of a weekend full of a-holes.
And some other Celtics and Vrabel showed up to work today. That one I still am blown away by.
Fast counseling.
All of it coming your way right after this. We'll back to the phones for the 5 o'clock hour. Maz, unless you have a fresh thought for us.
God, no.
Felger and Maz, 98.5 Sports Hub.
It was so bad from the start of this game. The turnovers, the mismanaging of pucks, the coverage, battles, whether it was in the corners or in the front of the net. It was all too many men on the ice. They weren't ready to play. Buffalo was. I mean, that's just, there's no other way to, you can't sugarcoat it. The problem was, Ryan, it wasn't under a heavy forecheck. They weren't under heavy duress. It was mental mistakes and physical. Mm-hmm. But a setup breakout that gets botched, the mistakes that were made in the first period were mind-numbing. I mean, you look at them, you're like, what are we doing? Their mistakes in their own zone were just, so bad. So bad. And there's just no other way to put it. And Jeremy Swayman got hung out to dry. They got to look themselves in the mirror after this game. I mean, it's just you pick the worst time for the worst game of the year, and they had some bad ones this year,
yeah.
which you expect once in a while. But today, in a game that it's not must win because it's not series clinching. Next game is must win, but it's pretty close to must win. And you come out with a performance like that. That is tough to watch. That is really tough to watch.
Bob Beers in the post game. Bruins with no exaggeration, one of the worst games I've ever seen them play in the playoffs. And that's saying something because they've had some complete gag jobs in my lifetime, both back in the day and recently. That was as bad as you could possibly imagine. Jim Murray, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I do. It was embarrassing. It was men against boys in that first period is what it was. And Bob Beers sounded disgusted there, and rightfully so. And so he's right when he's pointing out those 3 turnovers. Well, they had 4, but 3 that led to the 3 out of the 4 goals in that first period. It's not the Bruins, being fought off the puck or anything like that. They're not being bullied. They crapped their pants. They panicked. And it was just these horrendous turnovers that led to those goals. It was like the moment was too big for them. As bad a game you'll ever see by this franchise in the postseason, and there's been a lot, but that's usually led, it's been like pants crapping or them, having a gaffe late in the third period or in overtime. This was a no-show from the get-go on their home ice. That was wretched.
I could tell the first minute, I was like, something isn't right here. There was a big scrum in front of Swayman's net that he held it out. And that was sort of the culmination of the first maybe rush or chance, but it was just the first minute. I was like, this doesn't feel, something doesn't feel right. And it just went from bad to worse. When it was 2-0, I'm screaming at the TV, timeout, Marco, wake up, timeout. Your guys aren't ready. Do you not see this? Can you not see this? Your guys are not ready. It's not even close. You could just feel it. You could see it with every single pass. It's like, time out, Marco. He finally called it a 3-0, but I thought it was freaking obvious. Charlie McAvoy hammers this outlet pass to Aspro that, again, no pressure.
None.
There's no forecheck. He's just got to hit Aspro from behind the net with a nothing little pass right there along the boards, and he rockets it off the sideboards. And then for some reason, Minton, who I like, a promising young player, but decides to skate backwards into the zone and then throw it blindly up the board. Like, what the hell was that? And then the too many men penalty. Was that McAvoy himself coming off the bench? Is that when he ran into Tuck in the middle of the ice?
Yeah.
Who was the too many men on, Kevin? I watched the national broadcast. They didn't really tell me who it was. But either way, I want to blame McAvoy.
So after the hit, he went to go to the bench. Player jumped on. He didn't get off, so it was on McAvoy.
It was McAvoy. Yeah, I thought it was McAvoy after he ran into Tuck in the middle of the ice. This guy, McAvoy. Talk about overrated.
Boy, has he been terrible in this series.
Oh, my God. Overrated.
Terrible every playoffs, too. Just awful.
So he takes a too many men on the ice penalty. Well, it was his responsibility. He didn't go to the box, though. Because on the power play, Hampus Lindholm has it right on his forehand. Easy chance to clear the puck. He tries to flick it, and he whiffs, basically. And then McAvoy loses his guy at the net 2-0. They bench Mason Lohrei, which you all wanted. What you probably weren't bargaining for was Jordan Harris. What's this guy's first name?
Boy, did he suck.
He gets his pocket pick coming out of the zone, 3-0. Sturm finally wakes up, gets off his ass, calls timeout. Doesn't really do anything. Another horrible giveaway by Middlestat, trying to go across the ice to the Zadorov. Swayman makes an incredible toe save right there to keep it 3-0. But off the next faceoff, Swayman gets lost in the wash and now is a wide open guy in front, point to point, back in the net, 4-0. That was as bad as I have seen them play in a game like this. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, we've seen Game 7 against the Blues in the Stanley Cup final. That was 4-1. They were outshot 9-1 by the time Sturm finally gets off his ass and calls the timeout. And it was that bad.
Did they have 4 shots in the first period, I think?
I think that's right. 15-4 in the first period.
That many?
15-4 as they get booed off the ice.
And look, we've all seen the clip, I think, by now. I don't think I would ever say the words, I stand with Jeremy Swayman. But I stand with Jeremy Swayman with him going off the ice and barking at these a-holes. And I'd love to know what he said. Gutless performance.
So I was curious about who he was barking at there. To me, again, it felt like he was barking at Sturm because he didn't get pulled after the 6th goal. After the 6th goal, he was on the ice, and then there was a TV timeout at the next whistle, and that's when they took him off. And I thought, I had the sound down, I'm just watching it. I thought that he was shouting to Sturm to wake the F up and get me the F off the ice. Now, he was facing down the line of players. He wasn't looking up like where Sturm would be behind the bench. So he certainly wasn't looking where Sturm would be. So
that's why I assumed it was the players.
So I assume it's the players. The question to Sturm, whoever asked this question, I feel like McCarthy, Maz and I seriously have to start a media school. Because whoever asked Sturm in the postgame, good for you, young man. You're the only one there who did it and decided to ask the question, but you gave Marco Sturm an out.
Right. Short, sweet, to the point, direct.
Here's the question postgame.
Marco, looked like Swayman said something as he came off the ice. Was he trying to get the team going? And do you like him having some amount of fire in that scenario?
Absolutely, at least one guy. All right.
Okay.
It was not his fault today.
Okay. Wait. What's the question, class?
The question is, what was he yelling? Why?
What did he say?
Yeah.
Marco, what did he say? Period. Stop. You gave him an out by asking that. That frustrates you as much as anything. What did he say? What did Jeremy say coming off the bench? What did Jeremy say coming off the ice? Period. Stop. Instead, was he trying to get into you, and do you applaud him for trying to? And now you let Marco Sturm off the hook, and he can just go on with your tangent there. Marco, what did he say? God, that's so frustrating to me. You had it. You asked the question. Good for you, young man. Just simple. What did he say coming off the ice? So I don't know. I guess he was yelling at the players, I suppose. I don't know. I thought it was kind of wonky how he came off. Usually you pull the goalie right after the goal. They let the
timing was odd.
So then he came off the ice in the TV timeout. But it's just another sign of dysfunction and pants crapping. So what is it? Like what how do they come out like that? Have they lost their last 8 home playoff games?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's just wretched going back to 2023. I mean, they've given up 9 goals in this series. I think they're now, 3-9, 3-10 at home in the playoffs since 2023.
And how many of those wins were against the Leafs? If we
probably
take out,
all of them.
This is like you can do this with the Patriots and Jets games.
Yep.
Take out the Leafs and tell me how many home playoff wins they've had in the last whatever. 1? Who did they beat Florida once in one of those series?
Yeah, game 1 of 2023, they beat Florida. And then the other 2 wins were against the Leafs the next year, round 1 of 2024.
Take out the Leafs, and So what is it about here at home? And I just do they not give a crap? Which I just can't believe. I've always deferred to the thing about they want it too much, so they squeeze their sticks. And it's not that they're not into it; they're too into it, and they're overhyped, and they choke. Is what I've always deferred to. But it's something.
Yeah, since I saw this tweet from a guy who covers Bruins prospects. Since fumbling Game 6 of the 2013 Stanley Cup Finals in spectacular fashion, the Bruins are 23-26 in the playoffs at TD Garden.
And if you take out victories against the Leafs, I'd like to know what the Leafs game shouldn't even count.
Right. Well, what it comes down to is they're just a regular season team, and they always have been. I mean, this era of the Bruins, go back to the Bergeron Chara, the second, part of that era, they are just a regular season team. They put together good regular seasons. They probably overachieve their talent level. They certainly did, I would argue, this year. Then you get into the playoffs against better teams, and this is what it is.
That
outside of Toronto.
Not like that, though, yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that was
a no-show.
So my bottom line takeaway is this is why they don't have a captain. Because David Pastrnak is not that guy, and Charlie McAvoy is not that guy. It's been the biggest story on the team all season long. No one wants to cover it because no one wants to really tackle the uncomfortable reality that David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy are awful leaders. McAvoy -4, complete horse crap yesterday.
He's been terrible.
David Pastrnak in the last 2 games, -5. Always on the wrong side of the puck. Constant flybys, but no one will say anything because he's pasta. Why do you think they don't have a captain, everybody? Why? Use your head. If Charlie McAvoy or David Pastrnak were captain material, they'd be captains, but they're not. And it comes out in games like yesterday. That's where you see it. And that's a locker room that needs a complete attitude adjustment or a DNA change or something. They need something because McAvoy, Pastrnak are not it. But at least you've got a good goalie. That's really done a lot for you this series, right? The goaltending advantage?
Yep.
Why don't you just tell me that, children? How important the goalie is and how it's all about goaltending. No, another good analysis. It's all about the goaltending. Good. Got it. That's spot on. Let's pick this up on the other side. I know you have more thoughts on that too, McCarthy. First, a quick headlines.
Felger and Maz continue on the Sports Hub.
This is Thompson, sends one in front, and Tuck slam dunks that one, and it's 6-0.
It's just terrible coverage, but Marco Sturm's got him, and just Jeremy Swayman stay in. You're subjecting him to this. I understand you don't want to embarrass Swayman by pulling him now, but what's the point now? It's like he's not going to. His confidence is not going to be swayed. He's going to be fine. They might take him out right now.
Well, they're going to go to media timeout.
Commercial timeout.
Take a break here and think about it. But
why keep him in?
Yeah, I mean the game is far over.
His team has completely dropped the ball in front of him.
Jeremy Swayman will depart here.
It's been so bad today.
There is nothing that Jeremy Swayman could have
done. There's no way to sugarcoat this. It's been so bad.
No goalie wants to leave a game. I can tell you that right now. Bush is in the studio. Chris Mason's doing an excellent job with this. No one wants to leave that ice surface. You started it, you want to finish it. But in this situation, if I were the fans, I'd be booing every player that's on the ice that's in front of him.
You can see Swayman. He was hot. And a message for his team on the way off the ice.
Beers was saying it. Like, they go 6 goals in. It's like, it's time to come off. You get him off. And Sturm kept him in. And then in the timeout, he came off. Did Swayman pull himself? I'd like to hear from someone who was at the game. I did get a text from someone who was there. It was like Swayman might have pulled himself there. Like, again, Swayman had to call the timeout the other night in Buffalo, and now he has to wake up the coach to get him off the ice, and then he gets off the ice. Was he barking at Sturm? Wake up! That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Unfortunately, we'll never know.
We'll never know because the guy's in there to ask him what he said.
Oh, you could go down there and ask him, right? I mean, there's one more game.
I would have to go to Buffalo.
Get you on a flight.
But either way, your thoughts on the goaltending quickly, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hate to pull the Maz. You're right, Mike. You're right.
Thank you.
But you are right about this. Like, yet another series where the Bruins have the advantage in net and lose the series. What matters more is the team in front of the goalie, not the goalie himself. Like, I'm tired of getting duped by this analysis every time the Bruins end up in the playoffs. It's like, well, they have the better goaltender. Because you know what? They always have the better goaltender. I did this exercise the day before the Bruins started this series against Buffalo, and I said, oh, Jesus, in 5 out of the last 6 series, I can undeniably say they had the better goaltender, and they're 3-3 or whatever it is, and all those wins came against the Leafs.
Here's some numbers for you. So his last 16 playoff games, Swayman, .924 save percentage.
Good.
The Bruins are 7-9 in those games.
It doesn't matter. It is the most overrated element of playoff hockey. And I don't know if it's just because we lived through 2011 with Tim Thomas where he stood on his head and carried that team. It's just not the way it consistently works. I'm sorry. It's
a cliche.
It is.
It's a cliche. It's done because everyone's always said it. It's supposed to be right. It seems like it's right. If you don't know hockey, and I'm not like scolding you, I don't care if you don't know hockey. You don't have to know hockey. That's fine. Like, again, I'm not playing a hockey hardo on you, but it's just sort of an easy thing. Goaltending. Sure. It's like the starting pitcher. It's like the goaltender. It's like the quarterback. Okay. It's like the most important thing. It's not. It's just not. It just doesn't work that way. But everyone says it over and over and over again. It's all about goaltending. It comes down to the hot goaltender. Nope. The better team wins, not the better goalie.
So another one.
If there's one off, yes, I just watched Team USA beat Canada. One game, 60 minutes. Yes, that happens. Of course, these are 7-game series.
It evens out.
It's really hard to do it over 7 games. And maybe there was a time back in the day that did happen because the position wasn't so overcoached and the pads weren't so big. And so the gap between Patrick Roy or Ken Dryden or Martin Brodeur and Harry Schmedlap at the bottom of the league was probably really big. It was. So those guys could steal you games, maybe series. Now, like everything, they're all coached the same way. They're all giant Europeans on their knees. But I know that's an exaggeration. But they all play roughly the same way. They're all 6'5" and bigger. And it's just, there's not that big of a difference between one guy and the next.
Yet another series where you're going to lose to Alex Lyon. He started that series in Florida a few years ago. They went to Bobrovsky, but Antti Ranta, Frederick Anderson, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I mean, just name these guys, Ranta, and you lose all of these series.
Why am I blanking on the...
Corey Crawford?
No, was it Corey Crawford? It was Corey Crawford. Who was the other guy they had? The stiff.
Antti Niemi?
He might have been a Finn. Yeah, Niemi. Those guys are just guys.
Yeah. Well, so the guy that was just here, if you didn't just see the Senators get swept, Linus Ullmark was boobs out in that series. They got swept. He had a .930 save percentage in those 4 games. The Senators scored 5 goals in those games combined. Why do you think they lost? They can't score, and in the Bruins' case, their defense in front of them sucks. So I'd like to have good goaltending, but you're right. It's not the main thing.
I mean, it's not even close between Jeremy Swayman and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon. Swayman's a superior player. It doesn't matter. The better team wins, not the better goalie. I'm sorry, Matt. No, it's just, God, how many times do you have to see it?
In some ways, it's the reverse. It's like you think better goaltending matters in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Doesn't better goaltending matter over the course of 82 where you're playing a different team every night? You're not getting a look at the same goalie. No wonder the Bruins consistently overachieve in the regular season and underachieve in the playoffs. It's because they always have good goaltending. It matters more in the regular season than it does in the playoffs.
What did Swayman say coming off the bench? I want the real story. So I'm just going to ask and just don't talk in your question. Don't formulate an opinion in your question. Just what did he say? Stop.
I mean, did it add some fire? And
did it add some fire? And do you support that? Well, now what do you think the coach is going to do? He's not going to tell you what he said. He's going to take where you just let him. You gave him the out. What did he say? And not that we're going to get it, but I don't. You know how I feel about Swayman. I don't fully trust this guy. I don't know. I'm just watching it again. He's pointing. He's going right down the line of players. It's true.
And then the head's down is what.
And the head's down.
If
right.
his head was up, I would think he's yelling at Sturm.
It makes such sense for him to be saying to Sturm, "Wake up." I have to pull myself off the ice after I had to call your timeout. Either way. Okay, I promise. Back to your phones on everything. Long commercial-free segment comes your way next. Whee! Goalie fight.
Felger.
Whee! Look at the goalie fight.
Oh, Maz.
Oh, my God.
Murray.
He sucks in the playoffs.
That's great. No.
98.5.
Wonderful. Good.
The Sports Hub.
Minton under pressure, turned over. Here's a chance for Krebs and scores.
So this pass from McAvoy to Aspro is an easy pass, yet somehow it's missed. It's a setup breakout, D-to-D pass, and it's not executed.
Hampus Lindholm, chance to clear up the middle and couldn't. Power play comes to an end, and as it does, they score.
McAvoy unable to contain Doan in front. Hampus Lindholm tries to clear the puck and really got nothing on it. Both goals have been off of Bruins turnovers.
Jordan Harris coming toward the near side circle. Runs into trouble against Doan, and now Benson takes away. Benson left circle, steps in front, and they score. Another turnover in the defensive zone and another goal for the Sabres. It's 3-0.
Another setup breakout that's botched. There's some pressure there, but it's self-inflicted right now.
There's power from the high slot. Over to the left circle, and they score. And it's Bowen Byram scoring for the third straight game. Sabres make it 4-0 with 5:36 left in the first. Samuelson will hold that puck in the corner, and the boos rain down here at TD Garden after a nightmarish first 20 minutes.
I mean, the Sabres were there, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like you were under just a massive amount of pressure. The period was that bad for the Bruins. There was nothing good about it.
One team was ready, and the other team is the Boston Bruins.
The Bruins should have got booed off the ice in that first period. The fans have every right to do it. They weren't ready to play.
Hard to explain if you didn't see it. Just how bad it was. All right, I promise. To your phones on this, our Red Sox conversation, everything here on a Reentry Monday is on the board. Matt in Quincy. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys? Now, hear me out here for a sec, right? I was getting some 2003 Patrick Roy vibes watching Swayman take himself off the ice. And I just thought how great it would be if he decided not to play for us anymore and he could take himself and his bloated contract out of town. And while he's at it, take Mason Murray with him. I'm done with him. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Matt, did Swayman take himself off the ice?
Did Swayman take him? I think so.
Did Swayman take himself off the ice? It happened during the commercial break. I still haven't seen a shot of it. Was someone paying attention? I did get a text from someone who I think was at the game and said, I don't want to reveal the person, but he said Swayman calls the timeouts and now just might have pulled himself out. I don't blame him, though. Did Swayman bring himself off the ice?
Well, I mean, because it happened during the timeout, I would say that's pretty likely. And
that would, I think, inform a little bit what might have been said when he got to the bench. Was he yelling at the coach to wake up? I got to call your timeouts, and now I have to pull myself off the ice? And again, before I even got that text, that's what I thought, just watching the TV with the sound down. They didn't pull him right after the goal. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hang this guy out to dry. And then they show it coming out of the TV timeout. And he's barking down the bench. I agree with the caller. That throws off Patrick Roy vibes. Whether that was the case or not, who knows? Ben in Westminster. Yes, Ben.
Hey, guys, we got to talk about the panic sandwich that is the Lindholms. I mean, they're infecting the lineup. 27, I mean, my grandmother could have cleared that puck. And 28, and the rest of his line has been on the milk carton the whole series. I mean, the ramifications of this loss are terrible. Terrible.
What's unfortunate is that Hampus Lindholm and Elias Lindholm fit perfectly with these pants-crapping players. Perfect. They are the perfect postseason Bruins. The game doesn't slow down for them. They don't play with poise. They don't play under pressure. They don't move the puck when they're getting heat. Nope. They absolutely defer to crapping their pants. The Lindholms are perfect Bruins performers.
You've had a Russian bias, I feel like.
Yes.
That's a type of game, and them just in general. I'm like, no more Swedes. I'm good with Swedes on the Bruins.
Soft-ass Swedes.
Yeah.
How about Noah in Kansas City on the Red Sox? Yes, Noah.
Yeah, the quick Bruins thought, I'd be perfectly fine with both Lindholms, McAvoy, and Pasta being gone in the offseason. Completely done with them. Red Sox, this is the most miserable I've been as a Red Sox fan since I was 16 in 2012 during that stupid season. And I don't know if you guys are kind of getting vibes like that, but like Trevor Story is turning into like Josh Beckett level of hatred for me. And like, just shut up. I don't want to ever hear from you. Just kind of wanted to get your guys' thought on that.
That attitude he copped yesterday, my God, McCarthy, and you're on this too. Like the entitlement of a guy who's hitting under 200, expecting answers that he wasn't getting, saying that he's going to go talk. Let me just go back and
I
get
need
it.
to speak with Breslow.
If this shows us anything, Story said, it's that we're here to play baseball, and that's it.
Yeah, that's your job. You are the shortstop.
And he's saying that as like a complaint.
Right.
That this just shows us they just want us to play.
What else do you?
Like he expects some sort of other.
What other part of the job description do you think should be in there?
Some sort of other status.
Well, that's because Cora gave him that status. He's precious Trevor.
This is from The Athletic. Trevor Story said the message and explanation from Breslow were not satisfactory and that he needed to talk to Breslow, quote, today. Story said he wished the clubhouse had been consulted first, but that's, quote, not the nature of the business. If this shows us anything, we're here to play baseball, and that's it.
Hey, Trevor, should they fire the guy who's playing you every day, even though you're hitting 198? No? Okay, I guess we won't fire him.
Oh, my God.
Loser. Loser, loser, loser. Entitled crybaby. That's what Trevor's Story is. I can't get over it. Like, of all the stuff that happened this weekend, the Trevor Story comments drive me the most crazy out of all of it. You have been a terrible baseball player for 4 years. You had a couple months last year where you were good. Congratulations, buddy. Now you act like you're Ernie Banks, you're Mr. Cub, you are the franchise. Give me a break. You are hitting 198. You are one of the worst defensive shortstops in the game, but we won't move you away from shortstop because we're not the run prevention Red Sox. We're the hurt feelings prevention Red Sox, which is the culture that Alex Cora built around here. So now Trevor Story might actually have some accountability, might actually face some questions, might not play every day, might get moved away from shortstop, which he should because he sucks there. And his problem is, you didn't consult me about this? Yeah, I'm not going to consult you because you suck.
Quote, there just has to be more conversation, Story said. It's kind of up in the air with the true direction of the franchise, that's in parentheses, just what the true direction is. The situation, again in parentheses, this is just tough for the guys that were like, who are you to talk about the direction of the franchise? You suck.
You're the reason the franchise is heading down because you can't play.
Oh, my God, the entitlement from a guy that has come here and largely underperformed and hasn't won a damn thing.
I mean, that's being kind. He's basically played no big games in his career. He's got like 5 playoff games, 6 playoff games, I think.
Yet
has done nothing here.
He thinks he's entitled to answers or some sort of voice or some sort of say and some sort of say in the direction of the franchise. What are you? Who are you again?
He thinks he's the veteran on the level of Alex Bregman last year, who really did take a role as a de facto coach in that clubhouse.
He's played big games before.
Yeah, right.
He's won. He's earned that. But
oh my God,
Trevor Story hasn't earned any of that. But Cora did treat him that way.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
Cora was his biggest enabler. Now he's out the door, and Trevor's got a real problem with it. Good riddance. I should be going too.
Trevor Story out. Who'd you say just now should be going to?
Oh, Jaron Duran.
Out. Tool bag of the day, Jaron Duran. It's still my favorite detail from The Athletic over the weekend. At the start of the clubhouse availability on Sunday, outfielder Jaron Duran spent several minutes changing from one outfit into another as reporters hovered around his locker. Finally, he turned around, side-eyed a reporter who asked if he had some time, and then waved the back of his hand towards the horde to dismiss them without saying a word. This left 21-year-old Roman Anthony as the first player to speak for the team in the clubhouse in front of the cameras. What an a-hole.
Let's get Brian Bayo out of here, too. I'm sick of his act.
Yep. Yeah, him too?
He sucks.
Just for sucking, or is there something else?
Yeah, and he's just always a big baby when things don't go his way.
Oh, on the mound, his body language is horrible. Horrible body language.
He's a 7 on the Buchholz frustration scale. He sucks.
Is he a dick off the field like this Duran or this Story?
I don't know to that level, but the body language and throwing the glove if he has a bad outing, like I'm tired of his act too.
Fumigate the room too, by all means. And then they'll suck too, and then we get the GM. I mean, the whole thing's got to go. We know that. But don't be duped into thinking Cora didn't deserve it too. More your thoughts on a Reentry Monday after McCarthy gets you updated here. 90 seconds, no commercials.